Nice little username there in Fisher Firuzia. The third best and the 136th best player of all time.
Yeah, let's take some other challenge here. Ocean Storm is a Grandmaster. Let's not exaggerate, guys. We just started. Let's not take Grandmaster. Let's take someone with a random account, with a random name that just seems attractive. D4, Knight f6.
Yeah, stop playing with my rating, guys. That's becoming a bit embarrassing. I mean, what is this stream if not an opportunity for my mods to roast me? Like, there's really no other reason for me to stream apart from that.
Nice little username there in Fisher Firuzia. The third best and the 136th best player of all time.
Yeah, let's take some other challenge here.
We're off now on the new play zone. And hello, OopsKitty. And so the early challenge. And we're off. Let's start with my coffee house repertoire. Any requests, do let me know and I'll try, and as long as it's an exciting opening, I'll give it a go. So this is a really weird line that doesn't look like it should work, but Magnus played it to very good effect. Now let me see if I can remember how you're supposed to play against the dragon setup. The bishop on b2 looks really weird, but it's doing quite a good job of controlling the central squares. Of course, remembering any theory would be useful. At some point I go h4. It being a dragon style position. Let's play it now. Let's try and avoid any bishop h6 being awkward as well. Let's just get my king out of the way, so that's not a problem. And we'll defend that pawn on e4. The King's Indians will appear awake if I get... People tend to give me white in these games, which is very nice. But if I'm black, then and I'm allowed, I'll play the dragon. Knight d5 immediately or g4 first? Let's go for it. Sack, sack, mate. So now I'll drop the knight in. I want to deflect the knight from f6 and then go h5. Black has a bit of a problem with this now in c6 as well. Doesn't matter, let's just recapture. I can't quite pre-move h5, but that's going to be my next move. We'll kick that knight away firstly, and then h5. Yeah, 3-2 is fine. Gives me time to chat and hopefully not get flagged, although I'll probably still get flagged. What's this one? 3-0. Have to keep an eye on it. Obviously, it's quite difficult for black to get the normal counterplay in these dragon setups. I've crashed through on the king side. It might still be holdable somehow, but in blitz especially, it's going to be very unpleasant. So I want some rucksack. But queen f6 check is his defensive idea. Do I want to block that? Or does it not matter? Yeah, let's block it. Now, if I'm allowed HG, it's going to be an unpleasant mate on h8. I like this new play zone. I can draw all the pretty arrows. I don't have to do it on the old one. Looks like a very difficult position to defend now. Maybe g5 to stop me taking. Okay, blocked it that way. Makes sense. Try and keep the open diagonal. Okay. Enough faffing about. We want an open H file. A good decision, Zook. I'm looking at sacrificing my queen with e6. It's probably unnecessary. This is the kind of position that I always end up losing on time because I'm enjoying the position so much. What to do? I don't want to allow all this counterplay, but maybe I have to. Rook c8 is a good defense that I'd overlooked. And here's my clock ticking down inexorably. Pretty move, but I wanted to control the a5 square. And now we get the random part of the game. I have any way in. The bishop's quite a good defender, so I think I'm going to have to take this bishop. I think it's typical Dragon 2 that it's all chaotic. You need to keep focus or things go wrong. Got the checks in first. Good game at OopsKitty. Tenacious defense. I got lucky that we were short on time. And hello, Futon Nega. Thanks, Dangerous Ride, for the long way around of how to do it. Full description. Are you here, Fito? No, phone disconnected. Okay. Sorry, if you come back later, we might be able to get a game. And Oresvok has also gone. Let's try Mr. Nidorf. Bad house. Everyone's just okay. Dangerous Ride. Please tell me you're there. Yep, we get a game. We might even get King's Indian. Nope, another trump. How shall I do it this time? Okay, let's just play the main line. Recapturing it both ways is fine, but this is the more dynamic. I can't remember whether I decided e5 or knight c6 was more accurate. I think probably knight c6 with the option of going either e6 or e5. Some world championship match. Magnus against Karyakin. I think was this line, when Magnus was making his joke after Donald Trump had just won the US election, and so played the Trump. Slightly weak joke, but in the World Championship match, it's still impressive. Speaking to his seconds at the time, they had not envisaged the Trump being one of the openings that would appear in the match. They were just told the day before to collate a repertoire. Thank you, OopsKitty. I think I demonstrated that the line is dangerous, even if my play after that was not perfect. Here, I think I should be doing quite well with my bishops. Should we start pushing these knights around and see what happens? I like the light squares here. Put the bishop on g4 probably. Go to a6 is also interesting, just to try and keep the king stuck in the center. Doesn't look that easy to find good squares. Now the thing is, I can go bishop a6 to stop castling king side, but that encourages white to go queen side. I probably don't mind so much about king side, so let's go to g4. Try and provoke king side and then hope that I can crash through. So is f5, h3 kind of working? I don't mind sacrificing the pawn. So I guess there's two options, either try and improve this knight on h4 and put it into f4, or go greedy with h3 and grab the pawn. The latter. So now I need, my king is not entirely safe. Oops, I meant to go to f3 first. That was careless. My hand made the move, not allowing my brain to think. There, I think g4 was a good move, so good castle queen side. Okay, let's continue harassing those knights. All right, let's go d4 next. Just keep pushing and hopefully something will turn up. Let's not allow g4 again. d4, I'm not defending the square. I'd have time, strictly speaking. I'll just be taken. So let's add another defender to the d pawn. Magnus or Wesley, neutrino. I think Magnus has to be favorite in every single game he plays. But Wesley has been very impressive in general in the whole circuit. He defends well and makes very few mistakes. Sorry, was c3 a mouse flip? Probably. Let's go for the rook, because my bishop's. So thanks, Dangerous Ride. Unlucky there with the mouse flip at the end. But yeah, I would say that Magnus has to be favourite. Okay, avenge. I need revenge here. I lost 2-0 against him in my last Banter Blitz session. We had the first and last games. But this time at least I get to play King's Indian. e3, okay. The main line is to do something else with that d pawn. This position shouldn't be very challenging for black. So reverse semi-Tarish style thing. d4 pawn should be quite weak. Let's be greedy and grab a pawn. The d5 outpost is quite nice. So let's try and keep a knight there. But yeah, apart from Wesley's game against me, he's been very impressive. He gave me a nice gift for my one win when I was playing. But I should have got more from the positions I had. I hope there'll be a good final. There is the... you always want to cheer on the underdog, but you don't really want Wesley's style to pay off, whereby he's... Did he agree 8 quick draws and just opening repetitions or something in the knockout stage? Very pragmatic, but it's very boring to watch as well. I think this line with A4 and Berlin should probably get banned. Some draws are okay, but kind of ridiculous the number of games in that line we see. But I can attest from when I played in the tournaments that it was hard work. I had so many long games and I was just exhausted at the end. Can I go G5 here? Probably not. The queen is controlling. G5, take on B8. I'll take on H4 and get pawn to H3. Let's take this one seriously. I need to actually score some points against him. This bishop on D3 is dominating. I feel that I'm going to play too slowly again. Let's play the double-edged bishop H6. Weakening my dark squares a bit, but I'm hoping that I can do something on the light squares first. I just want a very basic checkmate. Otherwise, yeah, good game, dangerous ride. I think once I have the bishops, I should be doing quite well. Something that line is very critical for the Trompovsky. Need some concrete idea there, or you can quite quickly be worse. No, so I'm being worse. I'm a bit worried that I've got the weaker king now. 47 seconds. Getting a bit tight. Let's try and shore up some squares. F6 is probably far too risky. Don't want to be able to take on E5 and not allow his queen into the attack. Although that queen seems to be coming in the attack anyway. I've definitely let this one slip a bit. Okay, he goes for the endgame. I'm guessing he's confident he can flag me. He might be correct. So let's see how quick I am today. Still have this extra pawn, right? That rook has not got a lot of squares. This piece is suddenly very clumsy. B2 and play the rook and pawn ending. Oh, nope, he overlooked that option. Okay. 17 seconds should be enough now. They score against him. Another good game of Venge. And hello, John. Thanks for the challenge. I hope you're still there. You were there 20 minutes ago. E4. Okay. Dragon time. What line will he choose? Bishop E2, going for some classical setup. Maybe this hybrid. So I can go long or short here. I have to go neither, going for my throat. I'll still take a few moves to crash through, especially with the pawn on c6. It's going to be very hard work to find a mate if I'm controlling the d5 square. And if you can't exchange knights on d5, then how are you going to get rid of the knight on f6? So Castle Kingside has given up on the idea of mating me. Can't resist this exchange sack in a dragon. Don't think it's good here. In general, when you damage white structure and grab a pawn, here I'm hoping that one of the E or C pawns are also going. Thanks, Nashville. That's appreciated. I'll try and get back into streaming a bit more again after I finish the Chesapeake King's Indian course. I should have a bit more time. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel for that one now. I think I've more or less finished King's Indian coverage. Oh, nice move, John. I overlooked that fork. Lucky I can just keep pushing. And so I just have to decide on my line, for example, against the Trompovsky. Nice idea, but I don't think you're stopping my pawns because you've got an annoying check coming. It was only an exchange, right? Unless I overlooked something. I have to be a bit careful here because I've left my f7 spot weak. I don't think e4 was a very good move. Too impulsive. Okay. I had that one prepared. Let's just be greedy, grab some material. Go to d5 next, and okay. My technique has been less than perfect today, but this one I should manage. Because I don't allow some odd stalemate with a pawn h3, it's going to be hard. Thanks, John. Yeah, I think with bishop c4 instead of taking on e4, there's still a game on. Big Al. Hello, Al. I'm guessing this is Ali. Tough opponent. What should I play? Decisions. Let's go for this one. I actually had this in a proper game once. I don't think f4 is really a very good move, but I couldn't resist it. Some Irish League. Okay. When in doubt, push all the pawns, right? 4 points attack against a fantasy setup reversed or something. Yeah, of course, follow suit. I have no idea what's going on in this position. But yeah, I think not only am I playing an IM, but a blitz specialist IM. Who will be loving the chaos here. I have absolutely no idea what I should do. There are too many possible captures, so I'll just develop something. So the structure gets clarified now. So I've got a sort of extra pawn on f4 compared to a normal position. That pawn will be back on f2. But I think the pawn would probably be better on f2. It's blocking my bishop from going to g5. And makes my king a bit drafty. My knight is very nice on e5. It can't get hit. But can it do anything? We'll find out. I could use it to support a pawn storm with g4, g5. Feels in keeping with the position, but probably even less sound than what we've seen already. Let's pretend I'm castling kingside and wait to move. Okay, can I go for it? Almost certainly not. Okay, g4. Thematic. What order? E, C, F, D, G. My 5 pawns. Relating to the structure. Okay, let's just continue. My position might actually be very good here as well. There's a question whether Ali will almost certainly sacrifice a piece here and whether my king becomes a bit vulnerable as the center opens. What to take? One of the d pawns. Probably I have to take this one so my king has a route to run away. Quite useful that I can take on d5 with the check as well. So some weirdness at bishop e6, take on d5, knight c6, using all the pins. I can always take that because his queen is also hanging. If I take it with a knight. Pawn or queen? Let's go with the queen. So I might have some attack of my own against g7. Run away. This is very tricky. Very typical. So I can't go king c2 now because of knight b4 check. An awkward fork. Rook d8 is threatened. I'm a piece up. Can I get these queens off the board? That's cowardly. Try and get them to disappear. How many pawns do I actually have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's exactly a piece. These exchange queens. If there are a few more checks, my king is going to have to continue its journey to b1. And then hope that that's it. To develop another piece. Yeah. The correct thing to do, of course, was to play queen g5 again and repeat. But it's a bit of a shame that this game will be decided on the clock after it was so exciting. I should be doing well here with my extra piece, but I still need to. If I can castle by hand, I'm finally there. So a pretty looking knight, but that shouldn't be enough. Let's threaten mate. Time. Fun game. No idea how sound that opening was, but definitely enjoyable. Hello, Jap. Welcome again. Let's switch up a bit and go e45 this time. Yeah, it was a very fun game. Italian. Which way shall I go? Oh, this subtle move. He pre-moved castle, so it didn't really matter. I'll go for this setup. It's fianchetto my bishop. Just watch out for stuff on f7. Probably I shouldn't let that pawn all the way to a6. So my knight's a bit vulnerable. Yeah, I think I've played Jap a few times before. So I think my plan, pawns on h6 and g5, looked aggressive, but without a hook, I wasn't really going to crash through immediately. If white played h3 at some point, then I could play g4 and open up the g file to attack. Without it, it's more long-term gaining space. The attack is really going to be with f5. If I can get there. Now, what's the point of knight d2? He wants to react to me moving the knight with g4. To try and keep it closed. I was about to play knight h5, but that wouldn't be a clever move. Interesting. Okay, I'll play g4 anyway. Very odd sequence. Stop him playing g4 and give my knight this h5 square, where I can jump into f4. Okay, I want to exchange these though. Because otherwise he was controlling the f5 square and it would be hard for me to get an f5. Another game where I'm pushing all my pawns. Let's continue pushing. When in doubt, push a pawn, right? But which pawn to push? E or D? Let's go D. Try and kill off this bishop on C2 and attack the pawn on B4. I think my opening's gone pretty well here. I'm a long way ahead in development. Got a big center. Okay, you can win the exchange if you want. Couple pawns. The pawn on C3 couldn't be taken because of this check before. Still, there's a problem with this knight. Okay, we'll continue going. Wanted e4, but it can actually be taken because my bishop is hanging. So I'll go with the other pawn instead. So he's done a good job with his knight, rerouting it round back into the action. But I'm hoping my bishops are doing a good job. Trying to get rid of that knight so that my bishop is too strong to exchange. So I'll just retreat. Yeah, I always think that the bishop pair on an open board are worth rook and knight, probably. Don't think rook, knight, and pawn. Sorry, two bishops and pawn is rook and knight. I would always take the two bishops and pawn. And here I think I've got two. I have rook f. I could have played rook f1 check last move to win the queen, but my bishop is such a nice piece. Let's just continue putting my pieces on active squares. Dreaming of some knight into f3, but not quite sure how I'm going to get it to work. Defend that pawn. 20 seconds. It's going to get a bit random again. But hope they've got everything under control. Good game, chat. That one flowed quite nicely. Hello, Grandma Netero. Are you there? Yeah, d4. After I said that I seem to get a long sequence of whites before, I'm now getting my blacks to this fashionable Yabava Verisov London combo. This h4 stuff. I can go h5, which is what I always have played in practical games. But I'll allow h5 and we can have a complete mess. Oh yeah, maybe c5 is the wrong move order. I think I should have castled h5 and then c5. The problem is that it's very difficult to shift this knight from b5 now. And in fact, I don't fancy defending passive with the knight a6. So I'm hoping it's only the exchange. It might turn out to be a whole rook and try and get some counterplay in the meantime. Yeah, I did watch the Mr. Dodgy tournament. It was very entertaining. Yabava playing good chess and dancing along at the same time. He definitely found his rhythm for the tournament. Okay, so I think I'm only getting to get one pawn for the rook. I'm hoping that, at least in Blitz, I can find some dodgy counterplay. Of course, it can't be anything like objectively enough. A bit worried, I've just seen the time is 3-2 for this one. So flagging isn't going to be a get out of jail. Do I go for a rook as well? The bishop g4, f3, and I might just be losing all my pieces. Just or for the pause to try and figure out all this weirdness. Bishop g4, f3, e5 or something. Oh, well, I don't know. I'll try it. I might just end up having lost my entire arm in the opening here, but let's keep playing aggressive looking moves. Yeah, Anish is, of course, very strong, but you never know. On Bador's day, he can beat anyone. But Anishigiri is really impressed in online chess in the last year. Seems he's worked very well in it. This was my idea. Leaving everything hanging, grabbing a bit more space, but more importantly, threatening to take a pawn on h4 with check. Probably one check isn't worth a rook and piece. The king doesn't have that many safe squares. g3 does defend, but makes that bishop look very odd on h2. Then I can take on f3 and just continue calmly. Thanks, Thomas. No idea. I'm pretty sure it's all unsound, but it's enjoyable. Okay, well, I don't think I've got any other option, right? Well, actually, well, bishop h6 is fun, but I think he just takes it. Because if I take on h4, then you have g3 with the queen on h6. That pin is very annoying. I'm guessing queen f2 was the idea, but I've got knight c2 check then. So queen f2, king d1, or g3. I don't need to worry about counting the pieces. I'll just presume my material down until the game ends, and then I can count. It's a bit of a shame if I have to exchange queens. That's not in the program. Can I go knight? I can go knight f4 check. Go after the other rook. Yeah, why not? Might even be time to start counting pieces soon. Figure out how much I'm down. So take the bishop. Then I'll have it one check down the e-file, but probably only one check. I'll remove the bishop and knight from danger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 pawns. Okay, I think I have to take it now. So that my knight lives. It's turned into quite a good piece as well, that looked destined for falling behind enemy lines. Let's just continue. With the bishop, or take on f5 with the knight. Actually, maybe taking on f5. So I've got an open e-file if the rook moves. Sorry, if the knight moves. He's trying to trap my queen and exchange it with queen g2. Not very sporting. Rook d8, queen g2, knight g3 check, take on d4 with check. Does that get anywhere? I probably have enough material in now for the piece. So I could take on f3 now, but let's keep attacking for now. Various discovered knight moves. Encourage that king to move again. On it runs. 6 seconds. I guess I should win the piece. Or win the exchange. Okay. time to get the queens off the board. My queen was not doing very much. B5, check, king A5. I don't see. Very close to a mate. Come back and see if I can find it the second time. Where's the mate? And you both rook and knight on that square. Oh, there was mate. Knight b3 mate. Realized as I picked up the pawn. I can play it now. Chaos. Yeah. Once the king started running the center, I was reasonably confident. Hello, Alexandra Chess. Oh, disconnected. Sorry. Okay, well, I'll come back to that one. And hello, why must I lose to this Boge? You were asking for a game last time, and we weren't able to have enough time for it. Are you around this time? What should we play? Yeah, it's a crazy game. I don't think my rook sacrifice was sound, but in a blitz game, it's very tricky. Let's play my A3. I haven't played this one for many years, but I remember on one occasion playing it for the Slough Sharks in the 4NCL, the British League. And my opponent went G6 rather than bishop C5. And I took on E5 anyway. That's improved Halloween Gambit. And Jakob Ogar on the board next to me looked in with disgust and immediately offered a draw to his opponent and said he couldn't play next to such ridiculous chess. But I think it's actually sound. And I won the game in 20 moves or something. This version is definitely sound. My king looks a bit strange, but there's no more attack. I've got the center and the bishop pair. Should we force that knight back now? Yeah. Always a question in these positions. Do I go E5 or ED? Maybe I'll go neither. Let's keep the options for now. E5 now is a big threat. Yeah, it's a very interesting game. It'd be. I didn't see where your big improvement was. Kramen. Like, of course, being a rook for a pawn up, you should be doing well, but my dynamism was quite strong. Now, this is quite an ugly position for black. I would want to do something before h6, g5 happens. With our pawn hanging on d2, it's not so straightforward. Okay, I think I want my rook on the e file to play this move. I was about to go queen d2, but that allowed knight takes knight, because my queen would have been hanging, which would have been careless. Can I go pawn hunting now? It's always a bit reluctant because my d4 pawn is weak. So let's just continue my plan. Okay, and we'll pin that bishop. It'd be nice to get d5 in at some point. This is on the new play zone. User 0. User 0. It is very smooth, the new one. I'm not sure. It's still being beta tested at the moment, right? But Hope they'll be ready to launch properly soon. This is where Magnus et al. Are playing there. Let's have the rook. Nothing wrong with playing normally, but on the G pawn. Yeah, where the Champions Tour games are being played. Are you on the new server, Mbashes? If you, someone kindly wrote out how to challenge me. If you can scroll up in the chat. But I don't know whether, I'm not going to get time to play everyone. Got a bit more than half an hour left. Let's see how many we can manage. So here, what's going on? Material-wise, I've got 3 pawns for the exchange. So I don't need to worry too much if the queens come off. I'm playing without my rook on h1. So it'd be nice if I could get that involved somehow. But maybe I won't need it. Let's keep the queens on for now. Knight e6 check is probably a big threat. It's going to be hard to go anywhere with the king that doesn't drop a lot of material. I'm not streaming at the moment. User, no. I was doing last year before the birth of my daughter, and I'm hoping to again when soon enough, when things calm down a bit. Okay, let's just get this rook involved. When I start thinking about castle queen side, it's a bad sign. That king has moved a little bit. I want to mate here, but the d7 square is defended. I can go knight e6 and win the exchange. I'd like more, so let's go bishop e6. But yeah, hopefully later in the summer, I'll be able to go back to streaming properly again. I've been busy writing Coffee House repertoire series for Quality Chess and a chessable course on the King's Indian lifetime repertoire. So that's taken up all my spare time. Hello, Longcastle. Where to put the bishop? Let's go. Should have enough extra pawns here. Thanks, Dangerous Ride, for demonstrating how to challenge again. Of course, there'll be teething issues with the new side. I don't think that pawn is queening. And that'll be 4 extra pawns. Well, you can go rook d1 to b1 to win the b2 pawn, but the rook is trapped on b2. Okay, now the rooks have to come off as well, because rook e4 is... Cheers. Thanks for the game. Krypto, I haven't played yet. Hello, Krypto. Welcome to another Banter Blitz. What opening should we go? Let's go for a perk. Piets. Haven't played for a while. You're gonna provoke me. Fine, okay. Let's try and get a dragon instead then. So we have a close Sicilian. Not the most, or a King's Indian attack maybe. Not the most critical version with the knight on f3. In the general, people play either with the knight on e2, so that you've got f4 as an option, or play f4 first and then put the knight on f3. This way, d4 is really the only plan. So I'll prevent it. Okay, those bishops coming off. I don't mind so much. But I'll start with this one. With c2 being a bit of an issue. And do I have another threat? Yes, but I've got the straightforward way of doing it, is to take on f3 and then take on h3. Yeah, so it defends it. But can I take on h3? King takes h3. Then knight g4 to stop that going any further. Completely ridiculous. Unfortunately, I don't believe that one. I really want to play it, but I don't think it's working at all. So knight h2. So I'll go h5 with the idea of bishop takes h3 and knight g4 to fix that king. Pinning the knight is annoying for my idea. This is one of those dangerous games that I'm going to lose on time because I've got an idea that I can't get to work. Okay. I think I should have played this move last. It's definitely threatening to take on f3. Okay, I'll reroute. Have to give up on my initial plan. Let's be consistent with h5. I think everyone watches Friends, right? Famous all around the world. I didn't see the reunion thing that was on a couple of days ago. Okay, I need to be a bit careful here. I want to get my knight back to f6. I need to defend it first. Do I need to use the pin? I haven't given up on the idea of bishop takes h3. But okay, it finally gets played just as a normal move. And I get a trick in. It appeared in the end. Extra queen should be enough. Thanks, Krypto, and thanks. Why must I lose again before? Who haven't I played yet? Oops. Neutrino, hello. Are you there? You know, a few seconds, just should be online. Yep. And we'll go for a modern this time. After this, I'll do random accepts. So I'm sorry if you're next in line and you've been waiting patiently. But hopefully you'll still get the game. Let's be a bit provocative. And other kind where the pawn is committed to c3, so this have gained a tempo. Cheers, Krypto. Yeah, I was trying. When I went h5, I wanted to play bishop takes h3 and knight g4. But I don't think it quite worked. Okay. Bishop pair should be useful. Should ask these knights where they want to be in the end. Oh. Last move did have a threat. The extra piece should be enough here. Extra pawn as well. Yes, I do the Grunfeld Long Castle. I play it as well from time to time. I think it's easier to equalize by force playing the Grunfeld than playing the King's Indian. There are a lot of very sharp lines that you need to know. But yeah, it's a sound opening, and it works well having both the Grunfeld and the King's Indian in your repertoire. And Peter Sidler's produced a couple of videos on it. One on here a few years ago, and then the updated Chessable Volume 1 is out already. I'm looking forward to going through when I finish my King's Indian. Oh, that's a really nice idea, but unfortunately I can take this way. All your pieces are dropping. Rook e4 actually to go to a4. Probably doesn't lose another piece. Now 3 pieces are roughly equivalent to a queen. I should outgun 2 pawns. The top opening expert, Nashville, I think is probably Anish. But yeah, of course, they're all supremely booked up. But Anish Giri probably has the most knowledge. It's always difficult to know Magnus as well, even when he chooses to find ideas in sidelines. It's not because he doesn't know the main lines. He knows them extremely well, but thinks his opponents will too. But yeah, Anish is always well known for his opening knowledge. He's often getting an advantage. Fabiano Caruana's got is probably the most dangerous opponent. If you're black and he's going 1e4, as we saw, for example, in his game against Maxime from the Panthers, he's got a lot of these kind of opening ideas. Thanks, Neutrino. Pieces started dropping a bit early. And M. Batches, hello, you're asking about a game, and here we go. Yeah, for example, I lost a game in Isle of Man a few years ago to Fabiano in an Archangelisk. Wait, I don't think he was ever out of book. He improved on another Svidler Chess24 video that I naively followed. That had a bit of a hole in it. I should I do this? Let's go E. Without c4 play d5 is a bit dodgy because c3, d4 will happen. So I'll play knight c6. Right. He'll probably, it's going, yeah. These are very solid lines. Talking of Anish Giri, I believe he played this exact opening against Niels Grandelius in the Banter Blitz to win a couple of games. It looks very innocuous, but the old established knowledge of these kind of positions was if black exchanges light square bishops, there's nothing to worry about at all. And he's got very comfortable equality. But recent games have not entirely proven that to be the case. Black still does need to be accurate because white's attack is coming. So let's get rid of these bishops. And if he's accurate on the queen side, our counterplay isn't there. So it's a bit of a slow, unpleasant defense. Here it doesn't look like his attack is coming, but he's still very solid. So it's going to take a while. Yeah, thanks, Neutrino. I think you just have to keep fighting. It'll come. Giving away the bishop pair was probably a bit naive. Okay. Sorry, this one is extremely dry. See, it's going to be like drawing blood from a stone, trying to get any play in this game. The hope is that the pawn on d4 and e5 might be weak. Long term. But probably too many pieces have been exchanged for that. But let's keep the queens on just for a bit of excitement. A relative term in this position. Hello, Pro Lucas. I'm trying to play my dragons. Although this one, I was bishop b5'd. Okay, let's take this. At least now we've got a slightly double-edged structure. No, I don't think I want to allow b5. Interesting position. If white can go a4, b5, I'm in a lot of trouble. So if white could play knight from f3 to d3 to be exploring both b4 and d5, he'd be doing well. But at the moment, pawn e5 is weak. So he can't. Am I going to bring my king in or start? Am I worried about his king getting to anywhere? His plan, I guess, is put the king on c3 to go a4. So he has a definite plan. So we'll kick back in the center now. So his knight's coming around to d3. Maybe c2. But at least I've got to protect pass one on my own. So I want this pawn on h6 back on h7 would really improve my position. Because from h6 it can be attacked from the f5 square. So in fact, let's stop the knight getting on that route. Whereas on h7 it'd be safe. So I want my knight to get involved. So I want my knight on f4. I don't think he's got a square he can check me from. So going around. Club players when it's safe. Okay. I presume most, well, I've no idea of what the overlap is now between people playing online and the old-fashioned club player, hobby player. Interesting try. Am I going in the center? Jump my knight in. Getting too short on time to figure it out. Let's go with the knight. Yeah, I remember the chess base. I don't know if it still does. When you first log in and register, it asks whether you're a club player or a hobby player. These days it would just be, are you an online player? I don't need the beak pawn. But I might got there in the end. This year without an imbalance. Unfortunately, it wasn't very exciting. With white, I hope that can make it more exciting. Yeah, well, I think there must be a lot of people like you now use a of course, the ease of playing online. Let's go for this one. It's much simpler. But still, I miss the atmosphere of playing over the board chess. It's not that before. And hope it'll return soon. So if Black had enough time to break with f5 and open the position, then the bishop pair are going to be good. So I'm trying to strike immediately against this pawn on b5. It's a bit of a weakness. a6 will be needed. Probably I don't want to allow c5, but yeah. It's a really double-edged position. So I'm quite a long way from getting my king to safety as well. So I've got structure, but Black has dynamism. Declining. Take the pawn straight away. Okay. Provoking me into take on b5, but it's probably not good. Yeah, that pawn had to be taken before it could get another step forward. Try to be greedy. Yeah. I might regret not having developed any backing side yet. Usually it's probably just to do, I think I miss far more things when I'm playing online than when I'm playing over the board. Even the literal movement to pick up the piece. I think you see quite a lot of new ideas. That's why you see people hesitate as they're about to pick up a piece. And just clicking on the mouse doesn't have that change of perspective. So for me, I blunder far more often online than OTP. It's hard too for me to keep focused when I'm playing online. Too much of the time it's like playing a video game and just absentmindedly do something and then realize that I've messed everything up. I'm messing things up. Do I play the check? No, I think. I wonder if HCTH has a cunning idea of castle here and then rook e8 pinning. But yes, he has, but there's a flaw. Sorry, Thomas, I've no idea who's in the Cambridge Uni chess team. The actual, yeah, there's maybe f5 was a better try. Or otherwise I could take on g6 anyway after rook e8. I want rook a3, but unfortunately it could just be taken. How do I get my rook involved? Yeah, I know more about what the Cambridge University 4 NCL team is. But, Even that I've not followed precisely who's in it. I'm ashamed to say I can't even remember who won the varsity match this year. I don't see a mate, so I should probably develop. Can you play the what's asterisks? I probably play that way quite often. You saw my game where I gave up all my pieces. That would probably be the correct description of it. Okay, now my rook can swing. So his rook's going to have to h7 to defend. d4 or d3. Always these choices. I nearly always get the wrong one. Let's go to d3. I need to think about speeding up. 22 seconds is not a lifetime. Okay, so throwing that to the 6 mate if the queen moved away. Just got to check on the rook. Seconds. Okay. 5 at the end. Left it rather fine, but got there in the end. Hello, Ruthless Decision. Are you that? Okay, let's continue with my Coffee House repertoire. I think there's probably a good combination between reading books and playing. But did we had this already, didn't we? Ruthless Decision during the week at some point. Position is familiar. Yeah, just playing and never studying is not great. But you also do need to take and retreat. You also need to actually practice. Or else I think it's very difficult for any of the study to stick if you don't have a game to practice the ideas. Not sure which square is best. Go to d3. No, let's go with the f pawn. Try and get some mate going. Epoch, we're playing on the new play zone. So you should be able to challenge me there, but I'll only be playing for another 10 minutes or so. So there probably isn't time. But yeah, being able to watch strong players talking about why they're making their moves is incredibly valuable. With the Banter Blitz style. I remember having videos of VHS growing up on like the Intel Grand Prix series from 94 and 95, and then the Master Game style things as well. And there I loved hearing the top guys explaining their decisions. I can't remember which of those tournaments had the famous incident where I think it was Chucky against Fishy. and he had a choice of different mate and wands, queen takes rook mate, and he had about a minute on his clock and he missed it, went on to lose the game. But yeah, I loved watching those videos. That was still pre-streaming days, sort of just about pre-internet. That pawn shouldn't have been taken, ruthless. It was on g7, it's a decent defender, just rook e8, but once you've opened up your king, there's no defense. Simple chess, win the rook. But yeah, I'm sure that it's easy to find on YouTube, the instance. But yeah, it's worth looking for. I also remember watching the young Vladimir Kramnik with his long hair playing romantic openings. I seem to remember some King's Gambit, the Vladimir Kramnik version 1.0, before he switched to his Catalans and Super Solid in his hunt to be world champion. No need to exchange rooks. And I'm sure I've missed mate and won thousands of times in Blitz games. Online, in a classical game, I don't think I've missed mate and won, but in fact, Kramnik famously did, didn't he? Against Deep Fritz, was it? User. Yeah, I think it's quite important to have ideas, plans in the position where it's very easy to drift and just make mistakes. But yeah, that sounds like sort of middle game study would pay off. There's some good books around. I'm no expert. But I've enjoyed the Gelfand series, are very good as well. So what did positional chess, and I can't remember what the exact titles are. Tactical chess, strategic chess, something. My favorite game, Pro Lucas. I'm not very good at remembering. Specific games. I'll come back to you if something appears in my brain. No, thanks, Ruth. Cheers. I think it was probably okay-ish before king takes g7, and then it all collapsed. And thanks, Epoch. Glad you enjoyed the books. Onam, not there. Okay. Someone else will be lucky. So, and Salah isn't there either. Blunderbander, are you there? Yep, this will probably be the final game. We'll see. Yeah, I'm trying to think, Pro Lucas, about favorite games. But at the moment, I'm drawing a blank a bit. There are a lot of games I've enjoyed, but I was very bad at studying the classics when I was younger. I was just playing online, really. Already, I was an IM before I started looking at any of the classical games. And so I didn't really have that upbringing. Which is something of a handicap, but also meant I'm probably better than average in completely random positions, because I didn't have that strategic knowledge to draw on playing. I just learnt by trying things out. Countless hours playing blitz and bullet chess as a kid. Let's try and trap that knight. G4 is a big threat. Yeah, of course, Thomas, there are lots of... Game of the Century was the Fischer game, right? That was a good one. That was a 15-year-old Fischer. Oh, any way of actually winning this knight? Let's set up a bit of a trap. I think the knight can't drop back because they'll be taken e6. Some problems on d7. Yes, the Grunfeld is, I think, good for at every level. But I think I have to plug the King's Indian at the same time. The Grunfeld is just more forcing. And memorization required, but from both sides. Good defense, blunder panda. Okay, that's just castle. Still have the options. Would Bobby stand a chance against Magnus? Which Bobby exactly? And would he have access to? There's always those hypothetical questions, right? Would Bobby be allowed a few months to look up on all the recent theory and all the ideas that have changed with our wealth of using computers? If not, then I don't think he would really stand a chance at all. But that's not to say that he might have been the more talented player. It's impossible to tell. I'm looking for some mate here on the dark squares. I could just take this knight and allow 0 counterplay. Probably some taking h7, knight f6 was stronger. But I'm enjoying complete bind. And John, generally it's always everything for the stronger player, but they do these various studies where they show that top players generally aren't calculating any faster or any more moves than weaker players. They're just better at choosing which moves to consider. So our opening tree is sort of more refined, or our decision tree rather. Openings, I think, is probably the least difference. It's also the easiest to get to a decent level. Endgame technique, yes, can be surprisingly poor. But people who put in thousands of hours in the openings, but they never get around to looking at the endgames, and it really shows. So the endgame is definitely one. How am I doing this? Knight f6, queen d6. They both look good. I'll try and just keep total bind. So yeah, I think it's more about pattern recognition and understanding in specific types of position what kind of moves we should be playing. It's one of those that, especially with Fischer's play above anyone else's, I found he very rarely played a surprising move. And so somehow it's easy to underestimate how good he was because he just played lots of sensible looking moves. But they're often, but it's a huge talent to be able to always play the right one in those positions without often drifting. I'm having too much fun here, depriving Panda of any activity whatsoever. Okay, you can exchange those rooks if you want, but then I'll bring the second one in. So the queen doesn't have a legal move, neither does the bishop or the rook or the king. So can I just zug here and just play waiting moves? E4, C5, C4. Thanks, Blunder. Einstein. Yeah, that's decent. I mean, it's not very challenging, but it's playable if you just want to bring your bits out. You're probably likely to be playing some Botvinnik English. So if you wanted to play that style, the arguments are starting with 1c4, but can recommend the Botvinnik system by Simon Williams and Richard Palliser over on Chessable. That's my time up, guys. I was just reading through the chat. Thanks a lot for your company this afternoon, and hope you have a good rest of the weekend. And I hope to be back again soon. I'll try and play the new Banter Blitz Cup is appearing, so I'll be streaming during that. Yeah, I hope to see you soon.